Unfortunately, we're looking for a flesh and blood creature, but yet we seem to keep running into things that kind of baffle us.
There's another opening. Looks like 2 tunnels in there.
Holy cow, that's wild.
From discovering a mysterious underground mine shaft to their drone capturing the footage of the creature, the Expedition Bigfoot crew have finally captured the chilling truth they've been chasing. Let's dive in. The drone footage. In one of their investigations, the Expedition Bigfoot crew found themselves in the remote wilderness of Oregon, USA. This area is known for its dense forests and rugged terrain, making it an interesting spot for Bigfoot enthusiasts to investigate. While trekking through this remote area, the Expedition Bigfoot crew stumble upon an old, abandoned mine shaft with a dark, eerie aura. This mine shaft was way too risky for anyone to physically enter. It was unstable, and nobody knew what could be lurking inside. For this reason, they utilized their high-tech gadgetry, a drone equipped with a camera, sensors, and an experienced drone pilot. They sent the drone in, navigating the narrow and dark passages, but nothing could prepare them for what was about to happen next. The drone went from almost a perfect connection to an instant disconnection. According to the experienced drone pilot, this has never happened before. At that distance, the drone shouldn't have lost signal. While she acknowledged that she could get some spotty connection, it would normally happen in steps.
I went just around a corner, but it wouldn't have been far enough to actually get out of that signal. It shouldn't be too far to actually disconnect, like it was just right on top of a pile of nothing to actually damage it enough.
And that's when you lost connection.
That's right.
They would lose the high-definition video first, and then they would lose the FPV camera, a lower latency that takes less signal. The last thing that would go would be the drone's control, but everything went all off at the same time. This was very strange. This drone had technology designed for a spacecraft, and to the crew, it should have been able to handle something like this. According to the drone experts, something else was affecting it. They didn't know what it was since, to them, the only thing that would affect the drone that way would either be wind or a change in gravity, which was highly unlikely. Once again, the crew was experiencing electronic issues, as they had experienced in multiple expeditions in areas regarded to be frequent Bigfoot sightings. In an attempt to recover the drone, the team repositioned to the mouth of the other mine. They believed the 2 mines were connected and that the drone was so deep into the tunnel that it would be easier to reacquire the drone signal from the other side. At first, it did not connect, but then, just as they thought that there was only one cave, the team discovered that not only did the mine shaft connect to the tunnel on the opposite side of the ridge, but it split off into a separate cave headed due west. Seeing this and driven by curiosity, the drone pilot steered the drone to the newly discovered cave. But what they saw shocked them to the core.
Seeing this green foliage hundreds of feet into this tunnel where there's no sunlight leads me to believe that something is bringing in these plants because they couldn't grow there naturally.
Seeing this green foliage hundreds of feet into this tunnel where there was no sunlight led Maria to believe that something was bringing in these plants because they couldn't grow there naturally. Maybe something was bringing it in for bedding. But they keep going, sending the drone deeper. The drone then came to yet another tunnel in the mine shaft. This new tunnel appeared to lead south. Seeing this cave, Russell predicted that there could be an entire network of underground mine shafts to go in and out of freely and stay out of people's view. If whatever they were looking for in these mines existed, then the creature was a master of camouflage. They decided to direct the drone to the new tunnel and see where it would lead them. But then, something unexpected happened. After unexplained signal connection issues, the team chose to extract the drone before being able to determine the complexity of the mine system fully. The drone pilot didn't want to risk going any deeper in there after that glitch. To Bryce, this was heartbreaking, knowing that they still didn't know how deep that cave was. He wished they could find more evidence using those drones, possibly getting eyes on something. It was pretty unfortunate what happened inside that cave, but it was surprising to learn how many tunnels there were around this area. In his expertise, Bryce believed that it was a labyrinth, increasing the possibility of the fact that something large like Bigfoot would be able to move around this mountainous area without being detected. As the pilot packed up the drone, she noticed something: hair samples. Seeing this, Maria urged everyone not to touch anything as she ran to grab her equipment to collect a clean sample. Before testing, these reddish-brown and whitish hair samples could be of anything. Perhaps an animal dragged into the mines as prey or a predator seeking refuge in the mines. To be sure, they had to collect samples that would be DNA tested later on.
Could be whatever's living there.
It's very light color. It's like a whitish tan, you know?
They're not all white,
yeah.
guys. There's some reddish brown in there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
At this point in the investigation, the crew had gathered quite a bit of evidence. They had also set up a camera, which ran from the time the crew set it up till the time the crew left the location. That's quite a lot of footage to go through, but after scanning through it again and again, Bryce found something that quite honestly left him speechless. He saw a large humanoid figure passing through the trees. Yet this is not the first time the Expedition Bigfoot crew captured Bigfoot footage. Russell's encounter. In one of the Expedition Bigfoot crew's field trips, as Russell was doing surveillance of the area the crew had chosen to investigate, he noticed an animal-like creature with blackish-brown fur through the lens of his camera. At first he thought it was a bear, which was a common animal in the area. But then something unexpected happened. This animal decided to stand up on 2 feet and disappeared into the woods. Seeing this, Russell was astonished and decided to show his partner. "Zach, that thing just stood up like you and I would. Look at that shit," Russell told his partner. Even after replaying the clip, Russell could still not believe what he had just seen. What he thought to be a bear due to the fur just stood up like a human being, turned around, and walked away. It's like the creature was squatting, perhaps spying on prey or Russell and his crew. Although bears could walk on 2 feet, they were not as stable as the creatures they had seen. Excited by this, he tried to get another look at the animal and zoom in around the area to see if the creature would appear on the other side of the trees, but there was nothing to look at any longer. The creature was gone. Overjoyed by this new find, Russell decided to go to the area where he had spotted the creature and investigate more, perhaps find some other clues. After a while, Russell could not wait to show the crew the video he had just captured, and so he called everyone back to base camp. They all gathered at base camp, where Russell had some exciting news to share. Everyone was eager to see what he'd discovered that made him call them back, so they got everything ready. Once Russell played the video, they almost could not believe their eyes. Russell told them, "I've been kind of glossing this area with a telescope for a while. It's a long way out, and I'm watching these clearings. Understand something? This is over a mile away, and I see what looks like a bear on the hillside, so check this out. It looks like a bear. At first, that's what I thought I was looking at. It's just a bear. Until now. Watch this." Seeing the footage, Maria was astonished. They had come so close to uncovering the truth.
So check this out. It looks like a bear. At first, that's what I thought I was looking at. It's just a bear. Until now. Watch this.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
To give them a better look, Russell slowed down the speed of the video, and there it was. Bryce and Maria, having a bit more knowledge about Bigfoot than the rest of the crew, could not believe this. To them, that was definitely something other than a bear. To them, there was only one other possibility of a creature that could have that kind of behavior. It was hairy and moved like a human on 2 feet. Maria, being a detail-oriented scientist, had her own perspective. What she found most compelling about the video was the movement of the creature. The way the head of the creature looked around before walking off was most interesting to her. The creature had head-to-floor vertical movement, and with her expertise, Maria knew that a bear could not do that. On top of that, based on what the crew knew about the animals in the area, Maria could not think of any other animal out there that could move like that. To her, Russell may have actually found something to help in their research. As convincing as the footage was, it was not the only one capturing the elusive creature. Sasquatch running across the mountain. A group of researchers received unusual footage from a man named John. The video, filmed on a mountain peak along the Wasatch Front, showed a location tied to several Bigfoot sightings. John claimed he captured something strange that really captured the team's curiosity and sent them to investigate the mysterious area. At the time, they were in a valley at about 4,200 feet in elevation. They zoomed in on a peak that was about 9,000 feet. Using a spotting telescope, they filmed the creature moving horizontally, then climbing straight up a steep, snowy mountainside. They had to hold the camera lens to the viewfinder, doing their best to capture it all. It was almost a mile higher than the guys filming it, around 5,200 feet higher. They had to zoom in over 3 miles at least to capture this creature that was easily and quickly running across around 90 inches of snow. The sight of the creature sprinting effortlessly through the thick snow instantly grabbed their attention. As they focused more, the group felt amazed and thrilled. It was hard to believe anything or anyone could move so fast in such deep snow unless it was incredibly strong and tall in height. When researchers received the footage, they were eager to analyze it. They wanted to determine if it was authentic, especially with so many hoaxes out there. To uncover the truth, they zoomed in on the footage, hoping to get a better look and figure out exactly what they were dealing with.
There's something wandering across the face of that.
But nothing could prepare them for what they were about to see. They saw a bipedal creature running across the mountain. The creature took a small break and ran off fast across the snow. The researchers couldn't believe what they were seeing. The snow in those mountains was about 90 inches deep, a fact they were well aware of. They explained that for a creature to move so fast through thick snow, it had to be incredibly tall, with feet sinking deep into the snow, and unbelievably strong to move without struggling. It wasn't just running, but doing so uphill. The power and speed it showed across that snow left them completely stunned. What could it possibly be? To try and demonstrate how difficult it would be to run across the thick snow, they went hiking in the foothills east of Francis Peak at Hardscrabble Creek in 18 inches of snow. Sky, a 6-foot-tall strong guy, struggled to barely walk perfectly in the 18-inch snow, let alone run. If the creature they saw in the footage was actually real, then it had to be way taller than Sky and had to be way stronger for it to run in the 5 times thicker snow of the mountain. The researchers were amazed by what they saw and the results they had gotten by letting one of them walk in the snow. After the incident, people started asking if anyone had searched for tracks. If the creature was really running in the snow, it had to leave some tracks, right? Some suggested using a drone to explore where the supposed Bigfoot was seen running up a steep mountainside near one of the Wasatch Front's high peaks. A helicopter pilot, curious after watching the video, decided to fly over the mountain to look for signs. What he found shocked him. The tracks were there. Although the strong winds at the mountain's top were slowly erasing them, making the evidence fade away, the evidence was there. The researchers made it clear that John wasn't claiming the creature caught on camera was Bigfoot. It had been seen running uphill on a steep, icy mountainside with deep windswept snow. On top of that, John also didn't say that the giant footprints in the large trackway belonged to Bigfoot. Still, the evidence was hard to dismiss. The steep terrain and unusual tracks left a lingering question of what it was that had been captured on camera.
Very closely, you can actually make out that this is walking on 2 legs. It is one color from head to toe. That shows us it is not wearing clothing. You would be able to see differentiation in color, but this is one color head to toe, which indicates to me that this large bipedal thing is probably fur covered.
In their expertise, the researchers knew that this trackway was consistent with most realistic Bigfoot trackways. Based on what the researchers knew from other footage, the brisk pace of trackways made by Bigfoot usually had long strides. Additionally, the footprints were directly in front of each other, as if the creature was walking a tightrope. Perhaps one or both of these pieces of video was a clear indication of the existence of the creature. As much as the scientific community tries to deny the existence of this creature, the Special Ops have a different perspective. U.S. Special Ops encounter Bigfoot. In February 1994, Miles and his team were deep in the Alaskan wilderness, working on one of their mission. Their goal was to simply sneak into an area, observe without being noticed, and leave without a trace. But something unexpected stopped them in their tracks and forced them to head back sooner than they had planned. Being Special Ops, Miles and his team were ready for the freezing Alaska and winter. All team members had skis to help them move across the snow and backpacks filled with other essential military gear. On top of that, they had meals and heavy clothing to keep them warm. They started their journey near Fairbanks, heading east past the Eielson Air Force Base. As expected, along the way, they faced challenging terrain: steep hills, the valleys, swampy patches, and dense woods. When they reached a particularly thick forest, Miles decided they needed to check if they could pass through or if they should find another way. For this reason, Miles instructed 2 crew members to switch to snowshoes, venture into the woods, and scout. That's when they found something they did not expect. They discovered large footprints in the snow. Each one was about 18 inches long and was spaced about 5 feet apart. Seeing this, Miles measured them with a tape measure he had on hand for deeper analysis. The prints were deep and clearly shaped, showing that whatever made them moved smoothly through the snow, putting its legs high enough to leave clean marks without any smudging. It had to be a tall creature. This was nothing like they had seen before. When one of the soldiers tried to walk in the same way without snowshoes, his legs would sink into the snow to the level of his knees. These mysterious tracks suggested the existence of an unusual creature native to the area moving through deep snow. At least, that's what some of them thought. Would this discovery transform their routine training into an exciting encounter with the creature that had made these smooth movements? Excited to make their training program more exciting, their curiosity grew, and they called their expert tracker sergeant to examine the footprints further. As he observed the 18-inch footprints closely, he noticed clear toe shapes indicating a huge creature, possibly 9 feet tall and weighing between 500 and 700 pounds. Although these measurements were preliminary estimates, their nature was clearly extraordinary. For this reason, Miles and his team decided to follow the trail to learn more about the massive creature that was causing them. As they followed the tracks, they noticed how the creature moved through its environment.
Just a very unlikely place to expect an elusive creature like Sasquatch is described as to venture out into the open in the broad of daylight. If there was anything attracting its attention, I would suspect it would be more likely to investigate or take advantage of that under the cover of darkness.
The path led them along ridges through the dense woods, always avoiding open areas, which suggested that the creature knew how to stay hidden. This behavior mirrored the team's own tactics of using the terrain to stay out of sight, which fascinated them. Moving through the deep snow was tough. The cold terrain slowed them down, but they pressed on with their skis and snowshoes. Eventually, the daylight faded, and they set up camp, prepared their meals, and settled into the sleeping bags. By late evening, the campsite was quiet, clear, and cold, with a gentle breeze in the air. But the most surprising thing was about to unfold. Around 4 a.m., Miles was woken up by a deep, distant, eerie sound in the dark of the night. It was a howl that echoed all over the snowy wilderness. The sound was uniquely deep and resonant, unlike anything Miles had heard before. At first, he thought it might be a wolf, which would be a normal thing in the wilderness of Alaska, but this howl was different. It was deeper, almost like a roar hinting at something much larger. Miles stayed awake, listening intently as the forest returned to silence, which did not last long. Suddenly, the silence was shattered by a new louder sound approaching their camp, suggesting a large animal, possibly a moose, was nearby. The noise intensified and then abruptly ceased about 100 feet away, leaving an unsettling stillness. Being a special operative and the team leader, Miles was convinced that whatever was out there was still learning and watching the campsite. As Miles listened closely, the noise resumed from the southeast, not approaching or receding near the campsite, but moving back and forth, snapping branches under its weight. This definitely woke up the rest of the team members, and one by one, they emerged from their tents to investigate. Although they were all good at tracking, they had their sergeant lead the tracking exercise, as he was the expert. They tried to find the source of the noise, but the rustling stopped again, putting them back in a state of loud silence until a terrifying howl that escalated to a roar pierced the silence. What they expected to be an exciting routine was turning out to be an unpredictable expedition. Yet, that was just the beginning of it. After a few moments of strange sounds, their unsettling encounter continued. A loud, clear scream echoed through the hills, lasting several seconds before silence returned. Quickly, they scanned the forest with flashlights but saw nothing.
Unlike Bigfoot, the Yeti is reputed to be extremely aggressive towards humans. There are a number of accounts of it attacking local villagers and killing their yaks, generally just displaying a nasty disposition altogether.
Armed only with basic gear and no ammunition, they felt too vulnerable to continue the pursuit, considering that the creature they were after seemed to be intelligent enough to remain stealthy. As dawn neared, they heard a tree forcefully falling. The loud cracking sound convinced them to leave immediately. By 4 a.m., they began packing, planning to depart with the sunrise around 8:30 to 9 a.m. Before leaving, Miles and another soldier decided to check the area one last time. They discovered more large footprints in a freshly broken pine tree. According to Miles, this was evidence that the creature had been moving around there. On top of that, the sight of a cleanly broken tree and fresh footprint suggested the presence of a large, powerful creature lurking in the area. This compelling yet intimidating evidence of the wild, unpredictable terrain they had entered left them no choice. Concerned about safety and focus on the mission, the team, led by Miles, chose to keep their encounter private to avoid distractions and unnecessary rumors. They agreed that discussing their experiences could detract from their professional duties and that silence was a form of respect for the formidable wilderness they had faced. As they departed the campsite, their collective silence reflected a deep respect for the untamed nature they had encountered. After their Alaskan journey, Miles and his team chose not to discuss the unusual events they experienced, fearing they could lead to complications and unwanted scrutiny at their base. Additionally, they learned something crucial from Anthony, a survival expert from northeastern Washington who trained at the Fairchild Air Force Survival School. This school emphasized crucial survival skills, including navigating with detailed topographical maps that show typical wildlife and an interesting illustration of Sasquatch or Bigfoot. This unusual inclusion of Bigfoot on a government-issued map piqued Miles' interest, especially given their recent mysterious encounter. The depiction of Bigfoot fueled his curiosity about what they might have discovered had they pursued the strange tracks deeper into the wilderness. Following this encounter, Miles was haunted by the possibility that they had come into a direct encounter with Bigfoot. This was clear since the footprints they discovered were unlike those of any known local wildlife, moving with stealth and grace not seen in other animals native to the area. This, along with the depiction of Sasquatch on a government survival map, led Miles to contemplate the existence of undiscovered creatures in the wilderness. Furthermore, this incident deeply affected the team, showing how much of the natural world remained mysterious and uncharted to them. Despite their training, they were reminded of their own limits in understanding the vast wilderness.